So welcome to the Tuesday, March 11th regular board meeting. If we can do a call to order, please.
Mr. Bowman?
Here.
Mr. Falk?
Present.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Here.
Mr. Napier?
Here.
Mrs. Winger, sorry. Here.
And then if we can also do roll on the adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mrs. Winger? Yes.
And item number 4, the approval of the minutes for the special board meeting that was held on February 11th.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Winger? Yes. Mr. Falk?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Okay, and number 5, public participation. I believe we have one this evening.
Mickey?
Mr. Cochran, you want to?
I'd like to thank the board for your vote of doing the recognition of my sister. And that meant a lot to our family and means a lot to me. And as you remember, when she went to Ohio State, the Delta Chi men took her to classes every day. And Derby Hall carried her up 91 steps. And the third floor to the classroom where they said she couldn't go. The Delta Chi became a part of her life while she was there. So when this started working out, I contacted a couple of guys, the original men that did that work, for her, and took care of her. And they were so excited. And when this comes into focus, we do this, some of the Delta Chi men from back in the late 60s would like to be here. And so they were very excited about it. And Van told me that a friend of mine, he lives in West Lawn, he said, I'm going to contact the headquarters of Delta Chi in Iowa and let them know about this because they are aware of the whole story also. So the Delta Chi was very excited about that, and I think if they show up, we will have a group of men that are been very successful in their lives, and that I know have been very successful. So, they know where Fredericktown is, and so they would be very excited to be here. I want to thank you all for that, because it means a lot to our family. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 6. One of my favorites. We have a lot of special accommodations this evening, and I have practiced reading these students' names. It's important to get those correct. So you'll have there on your agenda, but I'm going to take a minute and recognize these students. As you well know, this is a part of their education that's important. It gives us them an opportunity to be a well-rounded student. So we have a lot of things to recognize this evening. So soloist, Braylon O'Neill. These are through, they've received, you'll see there, excellence, superior, etc. I'm going to read down through the names, but you can see the what they performed and what they received. Cassie Fisher, Patrick McGowan, Drew Dumball, Adeline McKinley, Cassie Frazier, Trinity Amstutz, Rylan Conkle, Ruth Walsh. Under the ensembles, Wyatt Payne, Adeline Mickley, Leah Holbert, Truth Yarman, Pink Payne, Gracie Reese, Dakota Fuller, Bryce, thank you, Dakota Fuller, Reagan Green, Ella Sheriff, Madeline Bartlett, Olivia Workman, Madison Shade, Janelle Doubt, Holly Hogle, Will Pletcher, Patrick McGowan, Wyatt Payne, what is it? McGuckin. Okay. Madeline Bartlett, Zachary Davison, Grady Mills, Isabella Ritchie, Madison Shade, Trinity Amstutz, Drew Dunball, Ross Hamilton, Darren Hartley, Joseph Van Slyke, Cicely Barch, Jonathan Burns, Olivia Harris, Kara Fields, Kelsey Hess, Tara Gregory, Gabrielle Miller, Eliana Kirschner, and they were in the select choir there. Under the soprano alto vocal ensemble, Eliana Kirschner, Cicely Barch, and Olivia Harris. Flute trio, Izzy Berman, Jenny Alexander, Cassie Fisher. French horn, Pink Payne, Aubrey Whiteley, Ella Sheriff, Dominic Holdren. Braylon O'Neill, John Divelbliss, Rebecca Bussey, Patrick McGuckin, Izzy Rohrman, Ella Flynn, Cassie Fisher, Eliana Kirschner, Olivia Harris, Trinity Amstutz, and Pink Payne. Just congratulations to all those students that are, putting in that extra time and taking time out of their weekends to compete. And then a motion to approve the following donations. Once again, our PTO continues to step up and had some donations to our elementary, cart and some games of indoor recess, snacks for staff development day, and kindergarten field trip deposit. So need a motion for those.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Mr. Polk?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mrs. Weiner? Yes.
All right, moving into treasurers report.
Okay, revenues did exceed expenditures in the month of February. This is due to property tax advancement. Revenue exceeded expenditures by $2.2 million. This is approximately $500,000 lower than fiscal '24. Some of the large expenditures for the month of February, we had Northern Buckeye for VoIP services, Universal Refrigeration, that was for the gas lines out where they did the repair. Schmidt Security, the Village of Fredericktown for the SRO and Project Lead the Way. As of February 28th, the district, so far we've received almost 74% of all revenue. And for expenditures, we have expended almost 47% of all expenditures. Compared to 2024, revenue at this time was almost 93% of all revenue that received, and expenditures were at 49%. So both are a little bit lower than last year. That is basically everything for the month of February. The other item that I sent, part of my board report, and I placed the letter in front of you, that is the letter that I sent off for my testimony for House Bill 96. I know Shelley's want to go over some of it. I can join in when you do your legislative part if you would like. But I wanted you to see what I did send in, and get that in front of you, and then Gary will also speak to that when he gets to his superintendent report, because I believe that he is going to share that out with staff as well. And that's all that I have.
Okay, so a motion to approve the February 25th financial report.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Polk?
Yes.
Mrs. Weiner? Yes. Mr. Bellman?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, number 9, superintendent's report.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome. Again, beautiful March evening here in spring. I have a couple items just to share on. First, before we introduce Mrs. Reynolds and the English Language Arts curriculum selection process, would like to share with you, last night we had our spring Parent Advisory Council meeting. We had a decent attendance of 11 that attended there, and as far as the discussions, and I know I shared the agenda with you last week in the board update, but we went through communications, the strategy and approach. Also then solicited their feedback on a communication survey. And I think you saw that as well. We just wanted to throw a survey there in front of them, about 15 questions, and get their feedback, not only on the survey itself, but on the survey questions themselves, but also their feedback on should we be answering any type of questions or asking any type of questions differently. And so we had some good discussion revolving around that, around all of our communication mediums that we have. We have quite a few, what's effective, what is not. One interesting piece that came out of there, as all of them are receiving, at least within the Parent Advisory Council, they're all receiving the 43019 magazine, but not all are receiving the Fredericktown, which was interesting. So we have to work on that as far as the district is concerned to make sure that all of our parents, whether they live in the district or not, are getting those communications. So that's
a good
just
thing.
one example there of something that has already come out of that. So if we can refine that survey, we would, again, as we present the district quality profile, which we're working on that as well, we'd like to share that out and survey later in the spring here our whole community and see what comes of that. So
Awesome.
very good discussion. Really appreciate the Parent Advisory Council and their feedback on that, and very willing to share. The other thing we spent the rest of the meeting on was the impact of state funding, which obviously Heather has talked about here, and the impact of the state funding and the Budget Bill 96, that impact on Fredericktown schools. And really mine was delivering a low-cost, high-value education as far as how to present that. We focused on the Frediscope that'll be coming out here. We're hoping to have that hit mailboxes next week. But we have some really good data and information in there on House Bill 96 and that impact specifically, and also refer to the letter here that you all have in front of you. And really some really good discussion there on all the ins and outs of it at this point as proposed and how that impacts Fredericktown. So I want to thank Mrs. Reynolds. She was there taking copious notes last evening. And we'll get those ready to go and hopefully share those out with all of you by the end of the week to see that as well. But I just want to thank all those individuals that attended last evening. And thought I had one other thing. We also, like we always do, we look ahead and start talking about next school year, from staffing to enrollment and different things like that. And then we'll be looking at scheduling another meeting probably after graduation at the end of May there, bringing that group back together. So overall, a very positive meeting, and again, thank those members. With that being said, if I can direct your attention to the superintendent's consent agenda to item F. We have there a motion to approve the first reading to adopt the ELA curriculum into reading K-6 version 2 through the Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Company, or that's HMH, as presented. And so what I would like to do is have Mrs. Reynolds come on up here and present that selection process and even samples
I
for
know.
us.
I was like, is there a test?
There might be, I do not know.
I already failed my pronunciation.
So, it's been
Thank you
a lot
for
of work,
asking.
and we're very proud of our work, quite honestly. This is a shortened version of the presentation. So, this was, teachers met in teacher teams. They were, we live in a K-2 world and a 3-5 world, and we don't mesh very well. Not that we don't love each other, it's just that the focus of our work is still very different. So my big goal is to get us all focused on the same work. You have a reading teacher, a 3rd grade teacher. She's representing the 5th grade team in the K-2 hallway. I'd like to reference first that Ohio has a revised policy to raise literacy. I worked all year, last year, learning the policy, and it was changed January 25. So the beginning of the publication starts with the root cause of low reading achievement, like nationwide, and they cite that a lack of consistency across grade levels is one of the root causes, and that was a huge eye-opening experience for us, because we have been living in 2 hallways. We might have been living our own grade level. We might have been living, oh, this is what works for me and I'm a good teacher and this is what I'm going to do. So my work for the last year and a half has been unifying us, and I think we have come leaps and bounds. So these are the things that we agreed that we would do. We would choose a K-5 ELA curriculum. We would choose one that's on the list. This little paragraph is what I know and everybody else that's doing the work would believe in, that you have to do the curriculum with fidelity and integrity, develop foundational skills, language, rigorous academic vocabulary, text complexity that fosters knowledge and builds critical thinking. You're demonstrating your comprehension through written text, and we talk about that a lot at a district level. It's not just Mrs. Reynolds speaking this. The last thing is we all do want to work together from the district. I had 15 teachers. Every grade level was represented, every special ed entity, all of the reading teachers. So there were 15, not counting Mrs. Hackman and me, that worked on the process. Then I had several others of teachers that were just interested, and I would say, here, why don't you try this? So I had numerous classrooms that weren't in that 15 that were trying some of the new materials. We chose, and mostly this is Janet chose, 4 that we were going to investigate. To back up a little bit, in 2021-22 school year, the district purchased Integrity, and Integrity is a program that teaches phonemic awareness. So you'll see the kindergartners go, cat, cat. That comes from Integrity. Then Foundations is also used in kindergarten through 3rd grade. It's recommended statewide through 2nd grade, but we haven't had 3rd grade, and they've been doing it exactly as it's written to do. And those are the things that got us partial implementation when the state evaluated our effectiveness and put us so that we had a category that we got. I'm just gonna throw out maybe $30,000. I don't know if they really come through, but our numbers will line up pretty well. So Amplify is a company, and their program is CKLA. It stands for Comprehensive Knowledge and Language Arts. And Great Minds produces Wit and Wisdom. Great Minds is a company that came out of Engage New York a few years ago. We use their math program, K3. We use HMH, their math program in 4-8. So the first 2 that I just talked about, they were developed merely to align with all the criteria that meet the science of reading descriptors. Wonders and HMH are the other 2 programs we looked at. Wonders and HMH, and that stands for Harcourt, McGraw Hill. They took their standard reading programs and added 2 so that their rigor was increased and that their foundational pieces are also included. And this is our work. So you see a reading teacher, 4th grade teacher, a student teacher. He's just like a junior, not really in the world of, this is the work you have to learn, but it doesn't hurt us to reach them. This will be a kindergarten teacher and 5th grade intervention specialist. Here you have all grade levels working still. So after our 2nd session, I just said, are there some programs that you know you just really couldn't live with? So the first 2 that were eliminated, that was Wit and Wisdom. Wit and Wisdom does a great job of developing knowledge. They only have 4 units. So for your whole year, you're only going to talk about 4 topics when you're reading. And most schools that I've investigated that are using it don't even get to the 4th. So that means all of your reading instruction has been on 3 big topics. our teachers were like, we can't do it. Okay, no one's going to ask you to then. CKLA is also rigorous, and it's a little more engaging. They have many more units, it's colorful, but some of the content is just not what Fredericktown is ready for. Lots of neighboring schools are choosing one of those two programs. So if you're hearing talk, you just need to know that it really wasn't ready for us. So this book is just a book that was part of the CKLA program, and it's a wonderful book. It's a story of this girl who was attacked by the Taliban when she was at school. She was shot. So it's wonderful resilience, but this is a second grade book for CKLA. And the teacher that was using it said, I am not going to talk about these topics with my second graders. They are 7. That's not appropriate when you're 7. Okay. I've talked to the CKLA rep since then, and she says, oh, we fully know, and we're revamping. I said, well, Sister Sass, I do not have time for you to get it together, so talk to me in a few years. So HMH and Wonders were still in the running, and at the end of the day, everyone said, we can do either one. They're very much similar. They have just different tweaking features that made one more favorite than the other. And all of the discussing that we used was through a rubric that was published by U.S. Department of Education. It required 2 sets of papers to be completed, analysis of so many little subsets. The rubric itself is like 15 pages long. And each of the things that you're looking at, you need to go back and justify why you gave it the score you gave it. This is intensive work that we did. And I couldn't even face it till the next day. But I added up all the overall points, and HMH was an overall winner. And I can't take things just quietly, so I really wanted a reveal party when we did it.
I love it.
So here you'll see our balloon drop, and the kindergarten team said, can we send them to the balloons? Here's the curriculum that we were going to reveal. And I'm going to show you some of these things now. This is a bag of confetti, and the confetti was made from the programs that we didn't get. I handed those bags of confetti out to people that were on the team and said, you tell why we didn't want to choose it. It was very, very fun. So, what we did choose. I went to 1st grade because their box was sitting in the hallway. I thought, oh, no one wanted to claim it. It breaks my heart. And then I pulled a piece out. They had it there so everybody could use it. It's already filled in with Post-its of something someone has tried. They loved it, and they did a TBT meeting about, oh, I tried this using some of our new materials, and I loved how it went. Maybe you want to try it. So this is a 1st grade thing, and this would happen after you did all of your regular teaching. There's a whole group, we are all going to do this. On grade level, we're going to learn the things that we have to know, no matter what your grade level is. You're always going to have some that didn't quite get it the first time. So this is for, I didn't quite get it the first time. So this is characters. This is what you talk to your little group of, probably 4 or less students. On the back, if you didn't get very well prepared, here are all of your teaching points. Oh, love it, love it, love it. And obviously, they're loving it too. comes with a teaching manual that is huge and overwhelming. Everything you could possibly think of is in here, and already somebody has obviously tapped something they liked. Because that is overwhelming. This is the teacher version that's friendly. So here's the story, and here's what your kids are seeing, and here are your little talking points if you're the teacher that's giving the instruction. I love it, love it, love it. Now your student is seeing the same resource, only here are their stories. This is first grade still. And most of the stories are stories that you would find in the library, so you might have already read the book at home, someone might have read it to you. Then you're taking it the next step so that you're doing some writing about your reading. Writing about your reading is very, very, very important. First grade has a section where you can plan in pictures if you need before you try to use your words. And in my work down first grade hallway today, one of the teachers said, oh, I use that at Danville, and when we were done with the story at the end of the week, we ripped it out, I stapled it, I sent it home. There are teaching points that parents can do at home, and your book is used. These are, I think, $5 a piece per kid, which is not really very much. This is the writing piece. We're asking for that to be an online purchase. You can't do anything without having online. It's just not possible. So I'm only going to ask for the books that the kids use. Then these are all available. Teachers can print it, or they can do it on their whiteboard, their smartboard. This is their foundational piece that I would recommend use for tier 2. Would you like me to pass these down so you can touch them? They have level books that are also online to use them if you want. This is the 4th grade book. So the 4th grade students have a little more space in their margin. So we're doing this hard learning together. Everybody has to learn the hard learning. Underline this as the important part. Now, make some notes here as to why we picked it as your important part. I love the book, I can write it. Once again, then this just goes on. This is the 4th grade version of the teaching code, so you see the text complexity is pretty much there. They also have their mini lessons. We didn't even have a sales rep. I'm doing a pretty good job. Oh, it was a snow day in my bedroom. That doesn't sound good.
Jen, thank you for all your work on that.
Yes.
Sharing this with
So,
us.
would
this
you,
evening.
I'm serious, you wanna what? You wanna look at them? Go ahead.
We'll pass them out here and
Okay.
pass
Want me
them
to just leave
around.
them there?
You can leave them there.
This
and
is Mr. Napier.
Mr. Napier can pass them around.
It's just buried.
It's all right.
But thank you for all your work with this.
Yes.
It has
Tremendous.
been
And your passion.
thrilling, quite honestly, thrilling. There you go.
Thanks, Jan. Thanks, Jan.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Superintendent's consent agenda. We're ready for that?
I think we are.
Okay.
That's a tough act to follow, but
I know it
think
is.
we should go for it.
She had
I
props- She
volunteered.
had props and everything.
Well, I know, Katie came here in 2nd grade and I volunteered in Mrs. Reynolds' class in 3rd grade, and she was all about business and some fun then too, so
There you go.
anyways, all you.
Very good.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, on item A, we have an annual rental agreement approval with the Senior Activity Center. That would run from April 1, 25 through March 31st of 26. That's at a monthly rental fee of $600 a month. Also, item B is a motion to accept a bid from Hill International Trucks for the purchase of a 171 passenger diesel bus. That'll be at a cost of $142,000. This bus will have the capacity to transport 3 handicapped students as well. So that is a handicapped bus that is much needed for our district and for our fleet there, if you will. Item C is an affiliation agreement with Walden University for a nursing student to help out with Mrs. Sheriff. We have 2 MOUs, which would be to approve an additional supplemental position of a half-time girls track coach at Group 4, and then another one to approve the spring band instrumental assistant at Group 6. Item F, as we've shared before, and then also item G is the special approval of the special education model policies and procedures released by the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce in December of '24. It does direct all staff in the district to use and comply with the model policies. Item H is another first reading of Neola, Volume 43, Number 2. Those would be updated, new and rescinded policies, adjusted language there from both federal, state, and local policy. Motion to approve then. Item I is professional development for science of reading. And then also we have a list of classroom volunteers for the 24-25 school year. And item L is a motion to renew a 60-month contract with Modern Office Methods for copier lease and copier printing services. And then number 11 would be to be voted on separately as a supplemental volunteer for middle school track, and that would be for Katie Majors.
Okay, there's a lot there. So I would entertain a motion to approve number 10, A through, all the way through L. Superintendent's consent.
So moved. Second.
Any other questions or just discussion?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr.
Question.
Napier.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chapman, I did not get this to you before. But looking at this, the item D, the half girls track coach, I'm just curious, is that because of the numbers? It's a numbers thing,
Yes.
okay. Okay, and then,
And we lost Kathy Crable too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we lost
and we
Mrs.
lost,
Crable.
yeah,
We lost
that's
Mrs.
right,
Crable.
thank
Yes.
you.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, she's still with us. but-
She is with the high school
With the
now.
high school,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. She is still with us. Thank goodness.
Absolutely. And then, Heather, how's are the reimbursements still coming in for?
They are.
They still are?
Yep. We get it the second payment from the state of every month. So when payroll's done, I submit it to due, and then the second payment of the state aid, it's been on there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Haven't run out of money yet.
not yet.
Okay.
Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none?
Mr. Napier,
Yes.
Mr. Folk,
Yes.
Mr. Bellman,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman.
Yes.
Mrs. Winger. Yes.
Okay, and to be voted on separately, number 11, item A. We can do the roll on that. Or motion, sorry.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Napier,
Yes.
Mr. Bellman,
Yes.
Mr. Folk,
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman,
Abstain.
Mrs. Winger. Yes.
Okay. Moving into committee reports, number 12. Just a reminder, we've mentioned this at previous board meetings this year, but this is a way that the board is able to connect with our community through several organizations that we attend and are able to report back to the board. So, looks like it's me here for the first couple, and I've got notes a little bit everywhere. So for the Career Center, attended their last board meeting, and I'll be attending their board meeting this coming Thursday. They're in the full swing of accepting kids into labs and prepping to expand into being able to accept 70 more students. Most of the board meeting was spent talking through those logistics, some presentation from admin to the board, questions, etc. So I would say that was, like I said, a large focus of their meeting. Also wanted to mention that something that the Career Center does each year is the kids participate in the professionals, oh wait, what's it called here? I wrote this down. Business Professionals of America, BPA, and Fredericktown was well represented. Actually, Shelley and I both had the opportunity to judge at the school level, and then kids moved on to the state. So we had, I'm just going to list them here, Jacob Spalding, Luke Overholt, Caroline, I'm going to say that wrong
Rice.
again, Rice. Why do I mess that up every time? I should know that. Abby Crable, Elizabeth Swartzentrooper, and Elliot Anderson, and I know her as Kaylee Small. They all attended today, actually, and competed at the state level. And we actually have 3 Freddies that are moving on to nationals and will be heading to Orlando. Elizabeth Swartzentrooper, Elliot Anderson, and Kayleen Small. So that opportunity for them is pretty exciting. So yeah, congratulations to them. So that is my Career Center report. Moving into FCDF. We've actually had 2 meetings since our last board meeting, and most of that has been around Sarah, who used to be the president of FCDF, is kind of stepping back a little bit. Also, she currently was serving as the marketing chair and stepping back from that as well. She spearheads, a lot of the marketing stuff. One of the big ones being the 43019 magazine. So a lot of discussion about what that's going to look like, who's going to take that over. So that's why there's been a couple, and actually 1 meeting and then an additional meeting as well. The other thing that we're focusing on at FCDF is the website. So Emily Shipley, who is the Downtown Experience Coordinator, is going to be revamping the website. We've actually voted to use a different platform, a little bit more user-friendly, and maybe a little more updated and looking like we're in the year 2025. So lots going on, as always, with FCDF. Those are kind of the main focuses right now for that organization. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, one last thing with that, because I don't think I reported out the last month. We did have our first, what I would call annual dinner. Grateful that the school allowed us to have it down in the Commons. It was well attended, and we were able to celebrate some local small businesses, including, Divalus that has been in business for 50 years, et cetera. So lots of good going on there. And I think that's all I have on all my notes all over the place here. Mr. Bellman,
All right.
you are up.
All right, work dev meeting for Business Advisory Council. We had that meeting on February 26th. We've got 4 things here. Ryan, feel free to add anything to the first 2 points I've got here. You may have some of this information as well. Ohio Means Jobs, May 6th, they're gonna have a career fair at OMJ. They've got 17 employers so far. There's information on their website, but seniors are gonna be bussed in for that. They also have updated virtual reality equipment that they've gotten that's been pretty popular there. And then just to kind of get it on everybody's radar, October 1st, they're having their Career Quest at Mount Vernon's Energy Fieldhouse. That is going to be for 8th and 10th graders. Again, on October 1st, so next year there. And then the second one was Knox Aspect. That's going to run in April or May. And I assume Sean is connecting with Ryan on that. And they're working through that and giving those opportunities to the Fredericktown students there. Third is BHP gave a brief presentation of their services. They've got a mobile unit now that they use for employees as well. I've got information and contact information with me if anybody needs that, but they did a nice job with that presentation. And then ADF really just wanted to kind of relay, they talked about this at the end of the meeting, but they meet with local, state, and federal officials regularly. So if we have things on our plate that we want passed along, obviously we can do that ourselves, but they wanted to reiterate that we can pass that information along to them and they will go to bat for us in those meetings and relay that information as well. So thought that was a good one to end on, with everything that we have going on, and Shelley's gonna talk about some of those things in her report, so thought that was pretty important to share. So those are my 4.
Awesome,
Yep.
thank you. Next up is policy.
I didn't realize what an exciting committee this was, but Paul and I sat down with Gary to go over all these policies, so I'm so glad I volunteered for it this year. Anyways, we went through quite a bit. You can see everything on item H there we went through. My comment for the day. Go ahead, Paul.
No,
You got anything?
yeah, we met on February 18th, myself and Mr. Falk and Mr. Chapman and our policy rep. Quite a few things were deleted, as you can see, old language in that, and most policy does come from just what Mrs. Wenger's gonna talk about, actually, once we get into legislation. So that's where all this stuff comes from. We are, it was a good meeting. I've been on the policy before, and it's felt like it was much more concise this time, and we moved right through everything, and was really happy, so.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay, finance, we have not met. We met prior, and I hate to keep passing it to Shelley, but Mrs. Wenger is gonna be talking about probably a little bit of some financial stuff through oh, I skipped you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, you get to go now, and then I can just refer back to it.
Are you sure?
I'm positive,
You can
yes.
finish if you want.
Nope, keep going. It's all you.
Well, yeah, I actually have quite a bit here. So, the General Assembly has been extremely busy, over the last month. There's been, quite a few bills that have been introduced recently that have, potential, education implications. Most of those bills are just now starting to, be introduced into committees and have testimony and, all that. So, there's not a lot yet to report on there, but there's a couple that have gained a little bit of traction that I thought I might mention. First one is Senate Bill 66, and Heather, you might have to help me with this one a little bit, but this bill proposes to kind of change how the floor is calculated. So I think right now it sounds like inside millage and fixed rate levies are included in that rate, but this bill is proposing to include additional fixed sum
Correct.
levies, which would be like emergency
Currently,
levies,
fixed sum and
substitute
emergencies are not included in
Yeah.
any reduction.
Okay,
But with this one, those would be rolled back, so they could go below the floor
yes,
with this new bill.
Okay.
Which would impact this district because all of our levies are emergency levies.
Yep, sorry, I
Yeah.
kind of put you on that.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Negatively impact us.
Negatively impact us, correct.
Okay. And then the other one is Senate Bill 62. There's a lot of focus on school buses and school bus safety right now. This one's called the School Bus Safety Act. It aims to crack down on drivers who illegally stop school buses that are loading or unloading passengers. It'll allow a civil penalty to be assessed, and then the funds from that are generated from that is intended to support school bus safety technology initiatives. So then shift and focus a little bit here. Most of what everyone's been talking about recently is the state operating budget. At the last meeting, I reported out on the governor's budget proposal, and since then, the Ohio House has compiled that budget proposal into House Bill 96. Hearings and public testimony began for that on the 26th of February in the House Education Committee. They're scheduled to continue in the House Finance Committee. They are working on an accelerated budget timeline with a goal to vote this bill out of the House by April 9th. So House Bill 9, a lot of it is funding, which I'll get to, but there are a few or several actually, provisions that are not directly budget related. So I thought I would just highlight a few of those. There are quite a few reporting requirements being proposed for data regarding things such as mathematics curriculum, completion of the science of reading training, and then vacancy reporting for teaching, administrative, bus driver, like all kinds of positions within the district. There is also a proposal for the cell phone policy adoption that would require now all districts to prohibit phone use during instructional hours. There are proposed changes in attendance requirements for students, and then there's also AI policy adoption requirements. So now the fun stuff. This is the funding part of House Bill 96. So as it is currently written, it would require the completion of the phase-in of the Fair School Funding Plan. So there's 2 more years left on that phase-in. So please jump in too if I.
You're good so far.
Okay.
Yep.
It also utilizes updated property and income data in that calculation, but conversely, there are no updates to the input data that is being used to compute the per pupil base cost in each district. So that has been fixed based on fiscal year 22. So based on per pupil cost for fiscal year 22, and that would remain.
They flatlined it, so
yeah.
there's no increase in state funding for per pupil cost, so at that point, the cost is shifting, so it's gonna be more reliable upon the taxpayer rather than state. So by the end of 2027, the local taxpayer is gonna be paying almost 80% of the per pupil cost, and the state will be down to almost 20% of the per pupil cost.
Thank you.
And the cost to educate a student, of course, will continue to increase, but that per pupil amount is gonna stay stagnant at right at 8,200.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It also reduces the funding guarantees to 95% in fiscal year 26, 90% in fiscal year 27. At the same time, increasing funding for vouchers by $265 million. And it does, again, this focus on school bus safety, it does increase the minimum state share for transportation over the next 2 years. And requires, or not requires, but establishes school bus safety grants that can be used to help update school buses with some of this safety technology. So House Bill 96, as it currently stands, would have significant funding implications for public school districts across the state. There was an analysis conducted by the Ohio Education Policy Institute that found that between 80 and 90% of school districts in the state would see a decrease in their state share funding for the next 2 fiscal years. So this is obviously something that we're talking a lot about as a group, and that we're following very closely. There's a state legislative conference that's being hosted by OSBA on March 18th. That's intended to help provide additional clarity regarding the potential impacts of House Bill 96 on educational funding. I'm unable to attend that conference, but Christine is attending on behalf of the board, so just wanted to say thanks for that, appreciate it, and I'm sure you'll have lots of good info to bring back, so thank you.
If I can add on to that, the state did give out simulations, so the districts can go in and see basically how much we anticipate to lose, or some schools may gain money over the next biennium. Our district, unfortunately, is going to lose funds starting next year, and then more in 2027. The simulations are based on the October ADM. So of course, we started the year at a higher number. We started out 1127. We're currently at 1113. Those are funded students. So the simulation that the state provided has us being
almost like a negative 580,000 when you actually calculate it out at, if we stay at our 1113, our deduction or our loss of revenue is going to be close to 620,000 right off the top. So we will lose that money from then moving forward. But then it also pushes us onto the guarantee. Now the guarantee, it states that we cannot go below what we got in 20, okay? And that's fantastic, but as you said, he's reducing some of that. So they're taking that amount of 20, reducing it by the 5%, and then that next year they're reducing it another 10%. So they're not taking the actual number from 20, they're taking that reduced number and then moving it forward by that reduction. So our guarantee is less than what the guarantee should be because of that reduction factor, which then again is a little bit more than what the 620 is going to be. It's just
And it's really like a lot of talk about the imbalance of the formula.
Correct.
Because of the cost that it takes to educate a pupil is not it's not the current of what it
Right.
costs us to do
Right.
it.
absolutely.
It's like
You
not
know,
updating your budget at home
yes,
on groceries and all the
It
things.
cost us almost little over 12,000 to educate a kid. We get an 8,200.
Right.
Right there, it's offset some.
Right.
But with that reduction and then the no base increase, that's,
Right.
and the famous quote that I will say that he did was that he's not funding empty seats. That's everywhere, or just about every meeting I attend, that's the one that they always stick out, is he refuses to fund empty seats. It's just, but then all the money then goes to the charter and private schools. So, yeah, it's hurting the public schools.
I would just add that, I mean, I do think our associations are trying to do their
They are.
best. I mean, like, you can, if you're really bored or can't sleep, you wanna jump on the Ohio channel and listen to all the testimony.
Absolutely.
You know, Heather's done a great job with her written testimony, but there is like hours of testimony where people are, you know, trying to advocate.
Yeah,
for-
we would, on the back of the letter too, you can contact our representatives. We would, I encourage you to do that. You can make a phone call. We have those numbers there to Representative Lear, and then also Andrew Brenner. Also send an email if you want to as well. Then just so you know, Board 2, Knox County Superintendents on Friday, will be meeting with Representative Lear and Representative Mark Heiner for our monthly meeting, so they've agreed to at least come in and sit with us. The county superintendents met today, even in preparation and efforts to prepare for that, so we are delivering a consistent message across the board. So a lot of work out there and a lot of conversations and advocating for public education in light of what's happening at this level. The other thing too, Heather and I have scheduled on March 18th as well to go down and see Representative Lear in her office down in downtown Columbus. So going there and telling our story. And I think that's the challenge right now is being able to communicate the impact of it and tell our story on that impact and how it's impacting our students and how we operate on a day-to-day basis and our ability to care for our kids and staff. So that's the message that we want to just be able to get out there and let people know.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll just add is school funding is really hard to communicate and really hard to understand. And so
Yes.
I just encourage anybody that has questions to reach out to our experts. I mean, we will try to field those questions the best we can, but that I think is the most challenging piece and kind of always has been is, you know, just how to communicate that in a way that's, you know, we can absorb it and understand it. And so anyways, thank you, Shelley, for all the due diligence on that. Any other, I mean, I know that this is really just a report out, but anything else from anyone on?
Thanks, Shelley.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Heather, for putting all this
Yeah.
together as well.
Well, Dawn, I think we get out of finance liaison.
I
We
think
get- we
right
get a
there was
pass.
excellent, thank you.
I know.
Had a problem the way you
I
found
think-
through your math too. It
Oh,
was
yes.
very
Oh,
good.
thanks, Mr. Falk.
Yes, so the finance committee meets quarterly, and we met recently and
Yeah.
haven't met again, but we will,
Yeah,
especially as this kind of comes down the pike and we get a little bit more clarity on where this is gonna land, I'm assuming.
yeah, after, if they truly do vote in April, I would like to meet
Mhm.
then, and then, of course, again in May before the forecast, but,
Yep.
yeah, to see the actual impacts of what it's going to do, to our school district, yeah.
Okay, so under committee reports E, any other board member report outs on anything?
The play was, the Clue was really fun.
It was amazing.
It's exciting. It was a good 3 days. A little biased, my daughter was in it, but I've gone to those for years, even before she was in it, and like they just do such a good job. It was very well done, and
Agreed.
like it was good 3 nights. So we had a good time.
Yeah, I'll just add, was able to attend Beauty and the Beast, and we had a couple local, actually somebody's grandson.
Yes, was Coswell, the clock,
Yeah,
yes.
got to see the show, and so Will was in it, and then one of the Lookmeyer boys, Zayden. I always have to go through all the Z's there, but yeah, just love that our kids have that opportunity to do that. So
Yeah, and I will add, like
yeah,
the set, like
yes. Oh my
took
gosh.
them a ton of time to put together, and I don't think in all the years since 2012 that I've been here that we've had a set quite
Stage crew
that,
rocked it.
like, and
Yeah, the stage crew, I mean, nailed it. I mean, they were very busy. I don't think I've ever seen a stage crew have to be that busy for one of
It
those.
was well done.
They did an excellent job.
So who was murdered night 2 and 3? Because I was only there night 1.
Oh, it was,
You don't remember?
it was, it was,
Because number
Miss
first.
Scarlett was first,
Yep.
and then, Mrs. Peacock was
Okay.
Friday, and then pretty much all of them with Mr. Green on, Saturday.
Okay.
So,
Good.
too long to explain, but it was pretty
Okay.
entertaining. It's pretty entertaining.
Awesome.
Darren nailed it. It was good.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
I just thought that I would mention
Yes.
that I had the opportunity to sit in on the DLT meeting this month. That's the district leadership team, so, I learned a lot, but what I really learned was that, we have a great group of leaders in our district, that care an awful lot about our kids. And it was just a really positive meeting, and it was really nice to be part of that, so thanks.
They might ask you back after that. Yeah. Good. Awesome. Okay. Letter F. A for Adam. I don't know.
All right, so at the middle school, the 7th and 8th graders went to the Fredericktown County Fairgrounds, I think it was like 2 weeks ago at this point, for the Junior Achievement Inspire event. They had a good time, had positive feedback from the people that I talked to about it, so the kids really enjoyed that. Got to see a lot of different career options. Hopefully they got kind of thinking about that, what they could do in the future. This week and next week, I feel like there's something going on about every night. Tomorrow night, high school, middle school band concert, choir concerts. Monday, high school, middle school. The next week, parent-teacher conferences on Tuesday. Then Thursday, middle school, we're doing kind of a science-themed parent night. So if you want to come check out the 6th grade science fair projects, those will be set up in the gym that evening from 4 to 6. You can come in, check them out. If anyone wants to judge during the day, let me know. I have some openings still for that. But yeah, should be a fun night. The teachers are going to have different experiments for the kids and families to do when they come in. So check out the science fair projects, do some experiments, have some fun.
When is that, Adam?
That is next Thursday, 4 to 6.
When's the high school, junior high school choir? Is that,
Monday.
it's just Monday?
Yeah. What time, I'm not sure, but I know
I
it's
think
Monday.
it's 6 or something.
Usually it's like 6.
I think it's 6.
Yeah.
It's on the website.
Yeah. this Monday night though. Talent show next Wednesday, that's, opened up to like everybody, elementary through high school, so that's the first time, so I don't know, so it should be fun.
Gotcha.
That's Wednesday night though. And the only other thing, state testing wise on my end, started going over, working with the principals, to kind of get all the staff trained over the security plans, do their training. Then we'll start, getting the kids organized and ready to go in April when we get back from break. So, any questions on the middle school or with testing?
Y'all are going to DC too.
That's like
That's another, that's April, sorry.
Yeah, I've still got.
Spoiler
Yeah,
alert, I'm sorry.
on that. Oh, and the other thing I would say with district testing, the ACT testing, went very well. So, Ryan, Matt helped out a ton on that. Raquel Rivas and Brian Snyder helped proctor that, and then Renee Leibarger helped with it as well. So just thanks to all of them for making it run smoothly through that day.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, it's pretty drawn to mind, but I think you guys explained that pretty well. It was a great performance. Stage crew did really well. Can't believe how many lines kid had to memorize. Oh my gosh, that was a lot.
We heard a few of them though. I had a chance to go to a PLTW conference in Carroll, Ohio last Wednesday with Jessica Webb and Alyssa Shriver. We made a lot of good contacts, a lot of people that we'll be reaching out to in the near future, and just had a chance to sit on a few, they had different breakout sessions with the biomedical pathways, the engineering pathways, and just getting ideas about what other schools are doing, how they're partnering with different people. So that was useful. I'm glad we were able to go to that. Really right now we are in scheduling mode. We're looking at numbers, sections, just trying to get some ideas on how we're gonna do that. Karen's gonna go tomorrow to run a preliminary schedule just to kind of see where everything falls out, and then we have a scheduling board now in Adam's office that will come back and get set up and then start really playing around and see how that's gonna start working out. So that process is getting going. And then really the last thing I have, we have the majority of our CCP kids, we're a little ahead of schedule. We have the majority of the CCP kids are now registered and their applications are complete. We brought them in on that, in lieu of that parent-teacher conference, we brought CFTC in, and then they came in again last week, and we were able to get a lot more kids finished getting registered and signed up. So that's nice. And then R Factor, just update on that. We are, I think Cindy right now is looking at, Stacy, and they're looking at getting some people from elementary to start developing curriculum next year to get at least the first part of the year laid out to where really everybody, K-12, is getting very similar lessons, maybe differentiated, maybe sometimes not, but get that ready to go for the first part of the year, and then maybe we can start working next year to get the second half of the year. But I'd like to leave this school year with some curriculum in place for those lessons. So that's starting right now too. Any questions? All right.
Busy.
Right, I'm gonna, follow Ryan right on that R Factor, initiative and that culture blueprint. We'll be working with the high school with Cindy so that we have a program that's K through 12 and supports that. But at the elementary, we need a little bit more support to make that culture blueprint understandable for our students. So, when we were talking, is it Jen, that's the coordinator, trainer, she had mentioned that PACS was a really good, system that supports that. And an opportunity came across my desk for free training, available for teachers or a school that was interested in implementing PACS. And luckily, our building was selected. So PACS and in a joint operation with Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus will provide in-person training for, up to 30 staff members, free of charge for us, and they're gonna do that in person. When I surveyed my staff to see how many people would be interested, out of the 32 that responded, there were 4 who weren't, but 2 were already trained. So, we had over an 85% interest in that training. And what even makes that more impressive is that when I asked, would you be interested if it happened outside the school day, outside the school year, everyone who said they wanted the training said yes, they would still be committed to that. So we're looking forward to that. I met with Dr. Samantha Budapete from Nationwide Children's Hospital, and to participate in this as a principal, there are just a few meetings that I need to attend and give feedback on tools with them. And she goes, but you will still get the funding even if you choose not to. But I'm like, I will participate in anything that helps get our teachers that support and for our students as
Mrs.
well.
Hackman, what's the cost
The
per?
average cost for the training, and the training will be free, and they'll supply the PAX kits for our teachers as well. But the total would be about $600 a person.
Wow.
So if we have 30 people participate, $18,000, that
That's great.
will save us from having to invest in that.
Thank you for being at your desk. I'm just kidding.
Well,
When it came across your desk or your
I know,
email.
well, you know what, Amber Perry got an email, and she's like, hey, is this something we would be interested in? And it's what we had been wanting,
Yeah.
and it had been, so it just, everything fell into place.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, so I'm excited about that, and then, we'll be working with Cindy, Ashley Meyer and our PBIS team to work on some of that curriculum piece so that it's solid throughout our district. I'm excited about the PACs, but also I have other reasons to be excited. It's Read Across America Week, and our Read Across America committee has, like, by hands down, revamped and made it positively enjoyable. We went with a Dogman theme, inspired theme, so it's pets and dogs inspired. Every student will be given a book by the end of the week through the Scholastic Book Fair that Shruza organizes, and is able to get those books for our students. And every class reads, will have the opportunity to read with our therapy dog, and have cookies and, or Scooby snacks and juice boxes when they get to select books. And there is a comic book or comic strip contest inspired by the work of Dave Pilkey for his Dogman books that so many of our students love. And Carolyn Grimm's honors class will be judging any submissions for our comic contest.
That's awesome.
So that's all fell together very nicely thanks to our Read Across America committee. And then our 5th grade team will be at Academic Challenge on Thursday. And I went to a career and STEM teacher workshop at Ontario that was hosted by LJ Create and Buckeye Educational Systems. So we got to see Ontario school, their middle school STEAM lab, and their high school career tech and engineering and manufacturing lab. So really enjoyed getting to see that and hearing what other districts are doing, because I know we're working on that initiative K or 12 down to kindergarten as well. So.
Love the collaboration. Great. Mr. Caputo.
Yeah, a few things just I'd like to share with everyone tonight. We did have our professional development day for our intervention specialists across the district. It was a great opportunity to slow down with folks and just be able to answer questions. It was deciding whether to have this my first year in this role, and I decided, yeah, I do wanna get with everybody to begin with, just because I've been noticing a lot of things that we needed to make sure we were on the same page about. I provided some of the PD regarding some of the nuts and bolts pieces that needed to be kind of tweaked and changed as we're moving forward. But I was really always also happy, Molly Ryan, our school psychologist, was there to be able to present as well and kind of made that connection between the evaluation she completes and then that living document that we're to follow to help support our kids with special needs. Megan Yance, our speech therapist, we couldn't find our speech therapist, but we really got lucky. We got a contract service with her. She's done a phenomenal job. She's excellent at what she does. She did some great presentations to give real life tools to teachers so that they could take them that day and go and work with them in the classroom regarding how kids think about the way they think. I won't get into a lot of details about it. She used a lot of big words that we had to look up that day. Okay, so, but it really had nothing to do with anything that was fancy except how to be able to approach kids at their level and meet their needs. And then we also had Leanne Shepard, a board certified behavior analyst there that was able to share with us some of the basics as far as managing kids that may have some challenging issues and some of the roles that she plays in the district. Adam brought up, we have lots of problem with testing. There is lots of nuts and bolts, lots of things that need to be checked for all of our kids with testing. Every time we turn around, he's always thanking me for finding some more things that we need to add on as far as that goes. I'm being sarcastic with that because he doesn't like it when I find these things. And then also, the big thing for next year is we're looking at taking care of our kids, looking at our numbers of kids and looking at what we have as far as services for kids across the board. How many kids do we have with disabilities? How are we gonna be serving them? What are the needs of the kids? And that goes from our contract services, our speech, our OT, our physical therapy, TBI, the whole gamut. So we're looking at the whole kit and caboodle. Last year I started that in this role way too late. Luckily there were a lot of pieces in place and Heather was very instrumental in making sure that we could work together on those things in June and July. But this year I need to get a jump on those things now so that we can make sure we have those in place. I do also want to mention one tiny little bit thing regarding that PD vein, that professional development vein. I did take Montana Hoover and Michaela Cordell, our MHRMC teachers, down to Buckeye Valley. Outstanding visit down there. The folks welcomed us. They always say teachers are master thieves. We stole a lot of ideas to be able to bring back, and some things that I've talked with them about that I want incorporated in our classrooms anyway to help support our students with the most significant needs in the district. So they're ready to go. They're partnering up and they're already making plans for making changes for next school year. Okay. If there's anything specific y'all would like to ask me either now or later, more than happy to talk with you.
Just briefly, why Buckeye Valley? What made you select, like, what stood out to them?
I know the director there.
Okay.
I know how she runs things. I looked around for some exemplars. I wanted to go into a place and have not some pilot or trial that we're gonna check and say, hey, they're trying this. I wanted something that was a proven program. The program, the person was in it for 7 years already. The other program was 9 years. The opportunity this year, I'm going to take Montana to the high school program because they have great program K to 12. Okay.
Awesome.
So I'm looking for places like that that are proven already.
Sure.
So
That's wise. Good job.
good question.
Okay. Go to the other side of the room, I believe.
I'm gonna try to talk fast, I will. So Lynn and I attended the OEA professional conference in February. Lots of very good sessions, a lot of House bill legislative updates, technology, professional code of conduct. So thank you for that opportunity to go. Grant covered that. FEA has also And then to celebrate Valentine's Day, we had a gathering at the Brick House to enjoy a beverage courtesy of our grant on Valentine's Day. And the Brick House is always so good at accommodating us coming in and making a tab for us, so we appreciate that. And then on February 26th, we hosted the district bowling night at Trio Lanes. Prizes were awarded for various categories, fun by everyone. And a big thank you to Trio Lanes for allowing us to occupy the space for the private event. And as Gina said, we've been having Read Across America this week. I'm just going to add a little bit more to that. So our theme was Reading is Doggone Fun, and it tied in with Tolkien the Doggone series. We kicked off the week by inviting students and family members to come attend the Bingo for Books last night. We had over 100 people in attendance. Student council worked concessions for us, and then we'll give a donation to their fund for doing that. And he's always looking for a way to partner with communities and the community and the county. So to keep in spirit with the theme, we did a donation drive for the Knox County Dog Shelter. So families that brought in items could then be entered to win 1 of 2 dog themed baskets. So we collected $25 as well as several items that they will be very appreciative of. And then, as Gina said, we're doing the Cookie with the Bookie, and those books were provided by the support of the community with our Scholastic Book Fair. And the punch and the Scooby snacks, the grant is paying for those. And we had the therapy dogs. We had a new therapy dog today. I was very excited. It was a Doberman. We've never had one
that's
before. He was wearing a tutu. He was adorable and very soft. So the kids seem to be enjoying that, and I appreciate Brian letting us occupy the high school library for the event. And I also want to thank Mr. Briegel and his colleagues for volunteering their time to come in to do that. And then on Thursday, the PTO has paid for an assembly for us to have, they're called High Pro K9, and they are agility dogs. And they will be coming in and doing 2 shows for the kids. And they've been in, like, I believe, People Magazine, their website, they've been in, like, stadiums, very excited. The teachers, I think, are just as excited as the kids for watching that. And we're gonna do 2 assemblies, thanks to PTO. One so we can have K2, and then the 3-5 section, or 3-4. And then, as Gina mentioned, the comic book contest, PTO has also donated gift cards to the movie theater for our top 2 winners to go see a movie if Dogman is still out. They just released one. If not, something else of their choice. And a big thank you to Mrs. Grimm and her kids that are going to judge those comic books. And then each grade class will have a winner, and they will be receiving a copy of the Dogman book that was also paid for by the grant. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ben. Yes, for committee research.
In April, FEA will be focusing on member appreciation and mental health. We're going to head into testing season and approaching end of year activities in May. So on April 3rd, FEA will be offering a flower bouquet class. I will not be leading that. Members will be able to kick off April with a spring bouquet of flowers. Later in the month, we will have our after-school de-stress event that will be open to all staff. Staff members can come make a survival bag, enter to win door prizes, enjoy a snack, and visit with the therapy dogs. We're also looking into scheduling a yoga and meditation class. And to wrap up the month, we plan to have Sunny Sip Smoothie Truck come to provide a smoothie or beverage of choice.
And that's it for us.
Tough act to follow, huh?
The bowling night was fun, right?
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot
And I
of
have
fun.
some room for improvement of my bowling game.
That was really fun, thank you. And with the reading this week, I subbed this afternoon, and one of the places I had to go to was the library. When I went in, a fifth grade class was coming in, and then 2 kindergarten classes came in. The 5th graders had books that they chose several different kids, and they sat down on the floor or at a table and were reading to the kindergartners. Oh my gosh, I was impressed. Some of the, I don't know how to put it, some of the challenging 5th grade students, oh my word. They sat there with those kids, and a couple of them, they had the, just like a teacher would do, they had the book like this, and they were reading. It was awesome to see. It was very good. I was impressed with our 5th grade class. So that was fun. But,
Awesome.
other than that, I'm done.
I also forgot, we have 2 board members coming down to read to kids on Friday. So thank you.
Yeah. She hasn't told us what we're reading yet, Dawn. I don't know.
Go dog go.
Hopefully better than some of my
Dog go.
pronunciation this evening with names, but. Okay, well, I think the theme of that is collaboration, so great work there. All right, so we are to number 13, which is executive session. So I need a motion to enter into executive session for the discussion of personnel and for the purpose of superintendent and treasurer evaluations, and there will be no action to follow executive session.
So moved.
Second.
That was Nate.
Shelley and then Nate, yeah.
Nate, okay. Mrs. Winger?
Yes.
Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Mr. Folk?
Yes.
Mrs. Lindeman?
Yes.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
I mean, I say something, on a personal note for everybody, good news, my wife and I are celebrating our 50th wedding anniversary, we did.
Oh,
Yeah.